Hi, in this video, I'm going to tell you how to effectively and efficiently answer the most difficult, the most frequently asked, and the simplest interview question, tell me about yourself. So this interview question is something that no matter how prepared, no matter your level of experience, no matter your expertise, no matter your confidence, look, you're going to sit and think, oh my goodness, I dread this interview question. We all dread this question. But the truth is 99.9% of recruiters are going to ask you this question. So you better be prepared. And that's why I'm going to be covering in this video. So you want to make sure you watch it till the end. If you're a returning subscriber, you know, my heart goes out to you. It's such a privilege having you watch these videos over and over again. But if you're new to the channel, again, it's such a pleasure to have you. If you haven't subscribed, to hit subscribe, turn on that notification button because you want to be the first to be notified when I drop a new video on here every single day. And look, I'm all about career progression. What can you do to have the best career? How can you progress in your career so that you can retire early, you know, while you're still strong before arthritis and everything kicks in, you know, have time to spend with your family, with your loved ones. And so that's why I'm very much into interview preparation, because truth be told, if you want career progression, you need to be ready for interviews. If you want career progression, you need to be ready for interviews. Did I say that? Of course I did. So, and if that's why you're here, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. So when somebody asks you in an interview, Melvis, tell me about yourself, what exactly are they looking for? What do they mean? You know, basically, let me tell you what they want to know. They want to know, who are you? What are you doing here? What do you have to offer to us? How are you going to help us? How are you going to support us? Look, when you're thinking about this question, the main thing is you want to only think about the person recruiting you. You don't want to think about yourself. You don't want to think about the advantages of that job to you. You want to think about the person that is recruiting you. What is in this for them? What are you bringing for them? What do you have to offer them? That's what you need to think. Because too many candidates spend the whole time talking about themselves. Oh, I've got 4 lovely kids. You know, I love them so much. They are my life. You know, I've just moved to my dream house. You know, this job is going to make me to be higher paid. So I really cannot wait. Nobody cares about any of that. Nobody cares. If you're recruiting staff, the only thing you care about is yourself. So that's what you need to think about. If your question and answers are focused towards supporting that employer, supporting that recruiter, then look, you're likely going to be successful. And look, when I'm giving you interview tips, I have 100% success when it comes to interviews. In case we don't know each other, my name is Melvis. I currently work for the NHS as an advanced nurse practitioner. So this is the most senior clinical position in nursing. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I do so many interviews and I have 100% success rate when it comes to my own personal interviews. And this is because for me, interviewing is an art. It's not something that you have to succeed by luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe in being prepared for every single situation, every single scenario, having an answer to everything. I'm always ready. So if you're watching this channel, I want you to have 100% success rate, because look, all these tips I'm giving you, these are things that I implement daily. In, you know, 7 years in nursing, for example, I went through 7 different jobs. So this means that I have had so many interviews than some of the nurses that I've had in their entire career, considering that many people don't change jobs. You know, they hate the job, they're just stuck. No, if you're here, I don't want that to happen to you. If you're in a job now and you're thinking, oh my God, do I need to leave? Do I need to? Please start applying for those jobs, because look, I'm going to help you with the interview preparation. So you need to always think about the person that is recruiting you. You need to think about the person that is in front of you. What have you got for them? That's what I'm saying. And look, I'm going to tell you another thing. This question is meant to be an icebreaker. Yes, it's just a way for you to relax. That's the hope sometimes, is for you to relax, for you to acclimatize to the interview environment. Because look, when you're going to an interview, you're nervous, you're anxious. Like I say, no matter how prepared you are, you're going to be nervous and anxious. So see it as an icebreaker. Also, you want your answer to be concise, to be succinct, to be precise, to be short and sweet to this question. When I say short and sweet, what do I mean? It shouldn't be longer than 2 minutes. It shouldn't be longer than 2 minutes, because some people go on, like I was saying, you know, oh, you know, since qualifying, I'm just going to give nursing as an example, but this is going to apply no matter the industry where you're working, whether it's nursing, whether it's IT, whether it's, you know, you're a teacher, every single industry, the sample and how you're going to answer this question is going to be exactly the same. So please don't say, oh, Melvis, you've given an example of nursing. If I'm having an interview, you know, as a physiotherapist, or I'm having an interview as a teacher, can I still use this? Of course you can. because like I've said, it's going to apply to every single industry. So I'm going to give an example of myself. If you say to me, Melvis, can you tell me about yourself? Let me give an example. I'm going to say to you, my name is Melvis. I'm currently working for the NHS as an advanced nurse practitioner. I specialize in abdominal and breast surgery. Recently, I have completed my non-medical prescribing course, which has enabled me to be able to prescribe, and it's a skill that, is absolutely has added so much value to my current role. Also, I have recently completed my IRMA training, which enables me to request ultrasound scans, request CT scans independently, and this has also helped me to be able to practice independently. And what this means for my practice is that I am able to now assess a patient, I'm able to diagnose, I'm able to treat, and I'm able to discharge a patient independently. So this role that I've applied for is that next step that I need to then focus on primary research, because it's my goal to become a nurse consultant, because I want to keep implementing XYZ. That's an example. So 2 minutes, short, sweet, and concise. What did I do in this particular thing? You can see that I focused a lot on my recent skills rather than my previous 6 or 7 nursing jobs, because truth be told, by the time you're applying for any job, you need to focus on your most recent skills. Yes, we know that you've been a nurse for 30 years, you worked in XYZ. Nobody again is interested. It's not very relevant for the job that you're likely applying for. So you want to focus on the skills that you've had in your current job that are going to be most relevant for the job that you're applying for, that you're interviewing for. So that's why I give an example of myself. Right now as an advanced nurse practitioner, if I'm applying for my next job is going to be as a nurse consultant. That's my plan in my career. And by the way, if you're watching this and you don't have a career plan, I don't know what you're doing. I do. I have a career coaching service where I support with career progression in the UK. So you want to make sure that you check that out. We have weekly live sessions. We have a community hub where we can chat 24/7. If you've got any issues, check that out. If you don't have a career plan, I don't know how you're working, because how do you plan yourself? So my career plan, for example, I need to be getting into a nurse consultant post. So if I apply, I already know in advance what is needed for that position. And the skills that I'm acquiring in my current job are the most relevant skills to being a nurse consultant than the skills that I acquired in my 6 previous jobs. Let me give you an example of this. If I wanted to mention something about my previous jobs, what I'll say is I have previously worked in primary care. I've also worked in secondary care, and I've worked in emergency departments. So I'm able to work beautifully under pressure because I've got this extensive experience. It's also enabled me to keep improving my skills, and this is what I'm going to be bringing to this job XYZ. You can see how that flows. But instead, if I sit there saying, previously, I worked in A&E for 6 months, and then, it was such a good experience. They were so supportive. I learned quite a lot, very unwell patients. They were all emergencies. And then from there, I went to work in hematology. I also worked there for another 6 months, which was such a good experience. I was caring for patients that had cancer, and, I was able to see chemotherapy being administered. Look, and then from there, I went to day surgery. You don't need to get into that detail. That's the point I'm trying to make. And that's why, to make that short, sweet, concise, and precise, I just said I worked in primary care, I've worked in secondary care, I worked in emergency department. Look, that covers all of that. You don't need to talk about a specific, role, because those jobs that I did, yes, they are all part of my nursing experience. Yes, those jobs have made me who I am right now, but the experience that I had from those jobs is not directly relevant to the nurse consultant job that I'm currently applying for. So this means that in any industry, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it doesn't matter what job you're applying for. If you're talking about your previous experience, don't focus too much on all the places that you've worked, especially if that experience is not directly relevant to the job that you're applying for. And that's where transferable skills come in. You have to pick the most high value, the most lucrative skills that are going to have the biggest value and the biggest impact for the role you're applying for right now. And that's why in my own Tell Me About Yourself scenario, I spoke about completing my non-medical prescribing course, as well as completing my IRMA training, which is training that enables you to request CT scans and, ultrasound scans and all of that independently. Because if I was applying, say, for a nurse consultant position, it's always about leadership, it's that management. You're going to be leading a group of, professionals. So the more independent you are, the better it's going to be. So demonstrating those skills that show that you're an independent practitioner is very, very important. So those are some of the lessons that we can learn. Basically, they want you to focus on your professional ability, your professional achievements, and everything professional. There's no room for any personal things. You know, you've had 6 divorces and this and that. Nobody cares about any of that. You know, no one cares. And the worst part is that some people even go as far as talking about, oh, you know, I lost my parents, you know, they passed away, so I'm really struggling. I'm an orphan right now. So that's why I've applied for this job. It's going to be such a good opportunity because I'm not able to feed my younger sisters and my younger brothers. Nobody cares. You know, if I'm recruiting you, you know, you could be anything from anywhere. It doesn't matter. Because sympathy is not what's going to get you the job. Efficiency, being thorough, being precise and concise is what you need. Because one of the things as well is time. Remember that this question, you don't want to spend more than 2 minutes, like we said, because they still have the actual interview questions that they're going to give you. Even though your answer to this question is so paramount and is so important and so vital to make that good first impression, you need to know that the actual interview questions are still going to be coming. So if you take 15 minutes talking about this particular interview question, you're doing it all wrong. So you need to time yourself, be short, precise, concise, and sweet. That's how you want it to be. You don't want it to be longer than 2 minutes because you don't want your life history, even your professional history. It does not have to be the whole life history. And also sometimes, you know, people that are interviewing you, they may have been busy before starting the interview and they're just rushing in and all of that. So when they ask you, tell me about yourself, it's also a way for them to kind of refresh their minds as to who you are. Because look, sometimes candidates assume that the person interviewing would know all about you. Actually, no. They've got other things that they're thinking about. They're busy. They'll probably start there thinking, oh my God, I need this interview to be done because I've got a meeting at 2 o'clock. And yet I've got Melvis going on and on about this. Tell me about yourself. Melvis, can you get it done and dusted with? And sometimes they would actually interrupt you. You don't want that happening when you're talking about this question. If they have to interrupt you before you stop talking, look, you've spoken too much. And by the way, if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, I want you to just hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on that notification button because look, you want to be the first to be notified when I drop a video on here every single day. I'm faithful, you know, I'm legit, you know, I'm committed, I'm dedicated to your progress, to your success. And that's why I'm here. 8 a.m. every single day, I'm going to drop a new video on here. If it's a weekend, I'm going to push you to 2 videos because look, this is a commitment that I'm making to you, you know. But if you want that one-to-one support, if you think, oh my goodness, Melvis, I love the positive vibes coming, I need to work with you, then you need to be part of my private coaching program because otherwise it's not sustainable for me. As you know, I'm on a mission to retire by the time I'm 40 years old. So I'm trying to use my time very efficiently, which is why I'm doing this video to put on this platform so that it's easily accessible, you know, for anybody that is interested, but to work with me one-on-one. Like I've said, you know, I help with career progression. If you're a nurse especially, you know, I love those pathways. What are the pathways that you can progress into? You know, do you want to be a nurse anesthetist? Do you want to be a specialist nurse? Do you want to be a nurse practitioner? Do you want to be a nurse endoscopist? Do you want to be a nurse lecturer? I'll walk you through those pathways so that you can excel, you can thrive, you can enjoy your career. And look, like I've said, no matter the career that you have, this is going to be, you know, this is going to be relevant for you as well. And also if you're a carer and you're sat there thinking, oh my goodness, I want to do something else with my life, you know, whether it's healthcare that you want, clinical, non-clinical healthcare jobs, I'm your girl. You need to check me out, check that coaching program out and make sure that you join so that we can get started on supporting you to progress, to excel, to thrive, to have the best life that you can have within healthcare and keep on striving and thriving for the top and the best.